presentation will be in English, and before we start, we'll have some housekeeping rules to mention. First of all, this webinar is recorded, so we can reuse it later on. Please mute your microphone, and if you have any questions during the presentation, either you put them already in the chat window so we can answer them after the presentation, or we will open the microphones at the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. As you know, at AXS Guard, we support you in applying a zero trust policy. This means that you never trust, but always verify. For example, who is who? Who is allowed to do what and when? How do you keep unwanted traffic out? Who's connecting to my network, my applications? And what kind of traffic is passing through the gateway? To make this possible, we have integrated solutions in 6 domains. Connectivity is a very important domain because we want to connect everything with everything, the users, the sites, applications, but also internally with your internal systems, your Active Directory. We focus on access protection. We would like to know, as I said, who is who. We implement two-factor authentication, for example, with Google or Microsoft authenticators. And of course, with network protection, we protect your network with the firewall, intrusion detection, GeoIP blocking, and so on. For application security, we can use application firewall, like a web proxy firewall. We can also add two-factor authentication to it, but we can secure the application and who's accessing the application. For content security or content protection, well, basically everything that goes in and out of your network has to be checked on spam, phishing, malware, and other junk. We block it if we recognize it. And then last but not least, very important is the device protection, making sure that all your endpoints are under control. In today's webinar, we will focus on a specific solution in the content protection area. With the Premium Threat Protection Pack, we have a solution that fits in all the 5 different important requirements that the security solution must have. We can identify the problem, we can protect or prevent something from happening, we detect what has been going on or what is going on, and we respond with the right solutions, and if needed, we can recover with the endpoint security solution. The Premium Threat Protection Pack is a cybersecurity add-on to any AXS Guard. If you have AXS Guard Basic, Standard, or Enterprise, the pack can be added to any AXS Guard. It focuses mainly on preventing. We keep things out. We stop the threats before they can do any harm. And the 4 components in this pack have the same objective. The GeoFilter will block connections from regions where you do not want any traffic from. For example, if you don't work with China or Russia, basically you can simply exclude them. The web and email content filtering are checking on all the malicious traffic that goes on. Also, web traffic can be used to check HTTPS connections and so on. Today, we present a new add-on to this pack, which is called SecureDNS. If we realize that more than 90% of all cyber attacks use unsafe DNS connections to penetrate your network, it is very obvious that we need to control the DNS, resolving and block all dangerous activities. To make this happen, we have created a partnership with Secutech, another Belgian company, and we have integrated the solution in AXS Guard. You really need to consider SecureDNS as an extra security layer. The nice thing about it is that you don't have to do very much. There are no infrastructure changes needed. There are no agents to be installed, and it is very transparent for all your users. Once activated and configured on AXS Guard, and of course you also need to make sure that it's configured on the hosts in your network, it works autonomously and automatically. It monitors all traffic 24/7 permanently, and when needed, it blocks the traffic. It blocks the threats. The results are reported in a nice dashboard that we will demonstrate in a few minutes. But how does it work? Basically, it's simple. Any request, any DNS request will be forwarded to the Access Guard. The Access Guard will connect to the SecureTech SecureDNS server, and their server will check the domain reputation of the requested URL or IP address. If a user visits, for example, a domain that has been blocked because it's known as malicious, well, the user will be presented a default URL not found page. If an undetected malware tries to connect to its command and control center, the traffic will be blocked on the DNS level. And very important to note is that the users will not experience any latency or extra processing time. It goes really, really quick. The results of the blocking are reported in 10 different categories, of which the red ones are the most important ones. The APT stands for Advanced Persistent Threats. This is a solution that continuously uses sophisticated hacking techniques to gain access to a system. So this is very important that we block this. And of course, not only block it, but afterwards also remove it from the infected system. A botnet, the same thing. If there is a botnet installed via malware or via phishing or USB or whatever, once it tries to connect to the control and command center, the SecureDNS will block it. The other categories are quite obvious. A nice one to mention is that, for example, in phishing, a lot of new domains are being registered, and we block those new domains for 24 hours so that they cannot be used to send spam or phishing emails. Why SecureTech? Well, we have joined forces with SecureTech because they have a very good history and experience in building this solution. They have threat intelligence from history. They have threat intelligence from multiple sources. They work together with the Center of Cybersecurity in Belgium that gives them access to other secret feeds. They run and manage their own honeypot system. And they also, and this is quite unique, they're also the database behind the Safe on Web solution. So that means that they can collect 10,000s of suspicious URLs per day, which are injected into the system, and so we are able to use them. Also, on the other hand, it's a Belgian company, which makes it very easy to work with them and to talk to them. Let's move to the demo. In this short introduction I gave you to warm you up, I explained you that with the premium threat protection pack, you can activate different components via the Access Guard admin interface. Make sure all your clients use Access Guard for their DNS resolving to benefit from the power of SecureDNS. So in the demo, we will show you and we will focus on how the results of the SecureDNS protection are presented in the SecureDNS dashboard that we have built as part of the Access Guard central management portal. This dashboard is available already as of this morning for all our customers and our partners. I give now the word to Harold.
Okay, thank you, Dan. I'm going to first share my screen. I hope everyone is also hearing me. It's okay, Dan? Okay, great.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll share my screen first. One moment. Okay. So if all went well, you should see now my screen and you should see the dashboard.
Yep.
That's correct, Dan? Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So when you go to Access Guard Cloud, our cloud environment, you will get this SecureDNS page, the dashboard, our dashboard. Dan already mentioned what you need to get SecureDNS is also our premium threat protection pack. So the customers who have this threat protection pack, they will see this SecureDNS dashboard. Customers who don't have the the protection pack yet, they will get another page, and I'm going to show that one now. So if you don't have threat protection, then you will get this page, and we're saying we're sorry. but we can't show the SecureDNS dashboard. But the good news is there's a button here, and you can ask for a free trial version of Premium Threat Protection Pack with all these features, including SecureDNS. And then your access guard will start blocking SecureDNS. Based on SecureDNS, we'll start blocking DNS queries. He will log them and he will send them to our central system, and we can then visualize them, and you'll get access to our dashboard. Okay, so let's go back to this dashboard. And what can we see on this dashboard? There's a lot of information on this dashboard, and let's start in the middle here. And I'm going to make it a little bit larger by hiding the menu. Before I do that, maybe a quick look at the menu itself. So we have our dashboards, and there is your SecureDNS link to the in the menu. Okay, so I hide the menu, and then we get our SecureDNS board in the large scale. In the middle, you see a gouge, and there it says total connections blocked. As more than 7,000 connections are blocked. So important to tell, everything what you see here is blocked, so there are no immediate threats that you need to respond to. Everything what you see is really blocked by SecureDNS. And these connections that are mentioned here is more than 7,000 connections are blocked. Those are connections that were blocked in the last 7 days. You can see that at the top right corner here, you see last 7 days. That's the period that we are looking at now. You can change these periods by clicking on the calendar icon, and then you can make some modification there. Like, for instance, I can say, let's look at the last 4 days, and then say apply, for instance, and then he'll filter out only the logs from the last 3 days. Okay, so that's easy to have a look at certain time windows. Let's go back to the last 7 days. Voila. So now we're looking at, again, at last 7 days, 7,000 connections. Where did they come from? And then we look at the left top visualization. There it's listed all the systems that have sent logs to our central database. In our case, there are a few systems that were used. So we have a few test systems also, but also our production systems are there. So for you as a customer, if you have one access guard, there will be only one system in the list. But if you have multiple access guards, you will have all your access guards there. And what you see on this dashboard in that case is you have a complete view on your environment, basically. So everything what's happening related to SecureDNS will be displayed on this dashboard. Underneath the list of systems, we have a histogram, and this gives a kind of an idea of when, how, and the amount of connections that were blocked. For instance, I can filter out a few systems by clicking on them, and then only have the remaining ones there. So it's easy to find and go to certain system and filter out some data. If you hover out over these diagrams or the blocks, then you get more information of what the exact timestamp was for that. For those blocked connections. In this case, it was 28 blocked connections on my Harvik Guard system. Okay, I'm going to highlight again all the other systems. So I mentioned the total connections blocked, and done already in the presentation. Explained that all these connections are categorized, and that's something which is displayed in the DNS categories. So we have, for instance, the phishing category, and if you hover over it, it shows the count of blocked connections that are related to phishing. In this case, more than 3,000 were related to phishing. If you go to malware, you see 2,400, almost 2,500, and so on. The nice thing about this dashboard is also that you can easily filter out certain parts of data. Like, for instance, if I click on this bar for phishing, I will add a filter, and this filter is added up here in the left upper corner. So it says now AGDNS category, and then the keyword there is phishing. So I can filter out easily those values, and now I only see the connections, and there are more than 3,000 connections that are related to phishing, to the phishing category. I'll hide this one now again. and we get back a view on all the data. Next to the diagram here, the plot diagram, you have a pie chart which shows the percentages of the different categories. You can also click there to filter out a category. Above the pie chart, there is a table, and it's the top 10 DNS queries. So there we show which domain names are used or blocked, and the count of, like, we count the number of times these domain names were queried and blocked by SecureDNS. And so the Heinz.be is the winner here. It was used 271 times. And again, here you see a plus and a minus sign. So if you want to filter out Heinz.be, then you get an idea of where Heinz.be was used, and you see it was mainly on GWZ and GWA, and so on. You can really dive into all those little details. I'm going to remove this keyword again, and now we see again everything. Here is mentioned advanced persistent threats and botnets. It's yeah, we should take special care for this and special attention to those kind of threats. But I'll come back to that in a minute, how to handle those figures here. So let's go down in the chart. Next, we will see a histogram again of the time period of 7 days, because that's the one we selected in the top right corner. So this is the time frame that we're looking at, and then he shows the amount of connections that were blocked at that certain well, in that time frame. And you see here there is a spike, kind of a spike. You can even zoom into that by dragging over this in this area, yeah, and then he will adapt the time frame based on my selection. So if you go on the top, then you will see that I'm now looking at data from the 16th of October, and then from 8 o'clock till 7:30 in the evening. And then you see here the systems that were involved and stuff like that. So that's also an easy way to have more closer look at those spikes. Okay, so I go back to the calendar, and here I can now select again my last 7 days. And if I want, I can go back to my selection that I just made, because it's remembered here as a recently used data range. So let's go back to last 7 days again. Next to the 7 day, well, the period that is selected by our time frame, we have a fixed time frame of last 90 days. And at this moment, we're only showing the last 3 weeks, because we started this system just 3 weeks ago. But if we wait another 60 days, yeah, 3 months in total, so then we will see a complete graph of the history of the last days, and then we might see some trending there, and might spot some strange behavior also. So like this big spike, for instance, might be of some interest. Even we go down and we get more details. So here on the top hosts, we go to the level of the endpoints. So this is a list of all the endpoints, and then the number of blocked connections that were started from these endpoints. So in this case, we see that this is a host name GWZ. Where we know this system. This is our access guard, on which also content scanning for mail is. Yeah, it does the content scanning for our mail. So there are a lot of connections that are blocked by that system. If we know the username and know the host name, then we'll show this in this list. So basically, it's a good practice to create computer objects in Access Guard and define your computer objects. And then we can show these names for these computer objects here in this list, and especially for all your servers, it's common practice to make computer objects. For users who are working from behind their PCs, you can use the SSO tool, the single sign-on tool, where they can use their username and credentials to log on to the network. And then also the username and the host name can be displayed. So then we can have those things here in this table. The table on the left shows some more details about the connections themselves. So we show there the protocol and the port that was used for those connections. And then you see, for instance, that there were more than 2,000 connections from this system. So the IP address. This is our access card with content scanning for mail. Yeah, and we see that he has blocked more than 2,000 connections related to this. So that's port 25. Okay. The DNS queries are also marked. It's not really a protocol, but it uses port 53, and then the domains are there also shown. If you go even further down the chart, we get the really details. So this is a table that contains each log line of related to SecureDNS of all your systems in your environment. So if you want to go even to the really details, then you now see here the log of the details of your log lines. And so this completely, all the fields of these log lines are put in fields and then values and completely indexed, so that querying all this data, it becomes pretty fast, and you get immediate results when you change some of the filters. So that's the nice part of it. All is happening almost in real time, also important to mention. So let's go back to the top. We had there those two special categories, which is advanced persistent threats, and the other one was botnets. The reason why they are highlighted here is, so basically what that means is there is kind of software somewhere in your environment that's related, and this software had or did a DNS query or tried to contact a system that was related to, in this case, advanced and persistent threat, that was relating to that. So there's somewhere some software on your system. How do you get to this information, and how do you figure out which system that was? I'm going to show you that in a minute. So let's do this for botnets, for instance, and I filter out only the botnets, and then I can see here that for the botnets, the domain that was used was this domain. I'm not going to spell it. And it was blocked on GWA Cornias 1, and the bar is really at the left side, so it's almost 7 days ago. So it's on the 12th of October. If I want, I can click on this bar and then get those details more more detailed. So if I scroll down, then I see which system it was. This is the IP. The username was H. van der Veken. The host name I don't know at this moment, but Harold van der Veek, that's me. I know what I was doing. I was doing a ping, and that's also shown here in the really details at the bottom. So basically, I did a test to trigger a botnet connection. I triggered this to get this figure up in our dashboard, basically. Now, if I want to look at APT, it's the same thing. I can edit the filter here. There are a lot of possibilities. I can change the operator. I can change that he is one off, and then can have multiple. But I can change also here the value and put it to APT. And I update the filter again. And now I will see my 20 connections, and I see there are 2 systems there. Okay, let's only look at the Harvek Guard. I just drag over that item there, and then I know that I'll only get the Harvek Guard data. And here again, you see the domain that was used, AP-Sync or SecureDNS. From where was it originated? I scroll down, I see the source IP, which is in this case a PC with that IP address. And again, Harvek is the username, and the host name was PC Harvek. And there was a query done for APT-Sync or SecureDNS. The name of the domain already shows that this again is a test. And if I scroll down, I see that I did some pings to that domain. So again, a test to get this number up. Fact is, APTs, you will not find them very often. Luckily, you will not find. But if they are there, you now have some tools to, well, first of all, to see that they are there, and then to get to the source of it and try to remove that software from those PCs. I think I'm at the end of my demo. Done. Did I forget something? Or are there, maybe there are questions. If there are questions, you can also drop them in the, yeah, you can ask the questions, or you can maybe later. So, okay, Dan, I give the word back to you.
Okay, thank you, Harold. I think it's just very impressive to see that with a small, with an extra security layer, there is still so much traffic that's unwanted and that can be blocked. And now we can really live demo it, and we can show it what's going on at this moment.
Yeah. Okay. So also what I wanted to mention, and I forgot to mention that. So we have now all these systems in place to get this data from all of our access guards to our cloud environment. We do this now for the secure DNS logs, but we can extend it in the future for other logs, and create really powerful dashboards and powerful functionality to query all this data and have it all centralized. And okay. I think it's a nice feature to have.
Maybe a question, Harold, that's related to the dashboard. Now it's still open. How can we use SecureDNS when connected to the VPN? In full DNS, or instead in full DNS then, or split?
Yeah.
Let's say working from home.
I mean, all traffic goes over the tunnel then. Yeah. Is that a question that was in the
chat?
Yeah. So that's a question related to remote users, but you'll come back to that also in your slide. So for remote users, we advise to use VPN, of course, with strong authentication for all these remote users, and of course to have all traffic then go through the tunnel, so that also the secure DNS is done on your access guard. That's a way to set it up. We know that, but maybe I'll leave that answer to you, Dan, or because your slide is still coming.
Yeah, there is still a slide on
the slide.
Well.
Okay, so I'll give the answer back to the
I have
the
it
window
already.
And everything back to you. You're already sharing your. Okay.
Thank you. So Harold, thank you very much. As mentioned, this dashboard is available to all our customers. The only thing you need is access to the Access Guard Cloud, the central management cloud portal of Access Guard. In this portal, once you've logged in as a partner, you can see all your customer systems. And as a customer, of course, you can see your own systems, one or many, or multiple. If you don't have access yet, just send an email to sales@accessguard.com, and we can create a company account with an admin, and then that admin can propagate and add extra viewers to the cloud if necessary. Also, something to mention is that when I mentioned we are working with SecureTech, which is a Belgian company, that doesn't mean that the data that they have is only related to Belgium. So it's an international database, of course, with more than just Belgium, but there is a high focus on Belgian content that can be blocked. So just to resume, what do you need to use SecureDNS? Well, basically you only need one pack. That's the premium threat protection pack. And either we can install it as a new installation or a new activation on your access guard, or if you have already the essential or plus content scanning, we can simply make the upgrade. If you know that the SecureDNS license is less than 50 euro per user per year in the lowest quantities, and that SecureDNS as a standalone solution already is 35 euros, then we put a lot of extra value in this pack. If you want to try it, don't hesitate. Just ask your partner for a quotation or an activation. We will activate it on your system, or send an email to sales@accessguard.com, and we'll take care of it for you. And again, after 1 day already, you will see the results of the secure DNS efficiency in your dashboard. To come back to the question of Wannes, well, remote working, well, we recommend to use VPN always, just to make sure that you keep the access guard protection also to the endpoints. And also we recommend to install endpoint protection on systems that leave your network from time to time, especially for those hosts, to make sure that they are protected all the time. We know that there is a secure DNS client under development at Secutech. We are actually testing it, but so far we are not yet impressed because it's quite intrusive on the domain and on the networking. So we recommend for the time being, until we have another solution for you, make sure you use VPN for your remote users. Now, what is our vision? Because with all these new threats that are coming to us and to you every day, it is clear that we need tools that are making it manageable to manage all those threats. And it is our vision that this should be made possible in an efficient and also in an affordable way, especially for our market with a lot of small and medium-sized companies. It doesn't make any sense to go to the big five and ask for security monitoring solutions, because it will cost you very much. But as an IT partner, we are here to help you. We are here to help our partners and, of course, the customers of our partners and our customers. And we accepted the challenge. How can we bring solutions to the market that brings intelligence and efficiency to you? And basically, we have created, or we are creating, what we call the managed security service. And the managed security service, and you see a few dashboards which are under development as we speak. The AXS Guard Cloud Monitoring, it's talking about, or it's reporting about everything that's going on your AXS Guard. The SecureDNS dashboard, as we have just shown it, and there is already an endpoint security dashboard. And with all those three elements, we can build a solution that helps you to monitor your infrastructure, your environment, your network, and your threats. It is our goal to keep your company safe. We only go for the zero trust policy. And very soon we will release a white paper that describes our vision on this matter, and we will keep continuing, or we keep developing to the solution. And once we have our offer ready, of course, we will present it to you. So what can we do for now? How can we help you now? Well, basically, we are your partner, your security partner. Do not hesitate to contact us if you have advice, if you need consultancy, if you want a health check on your current configuration. We have those programs in place. Of course, as I said, implement the premium threat protection pack, start the trial. Endpoint security, we have regular proof of values, which means that during a 4-week period, we help you implementing endpoint security and the management of the endpoint security together with you. And then soon to be announced, we have our managed security services. And this brings me to the end of this presentation about SecureDNS. Let's have a quick look if there are still other questions. Harold, you're ready for the
there are a few
answering? So is it possible to use SecureDNS with IP addresses instead of using the firewall, so without the use of a tunnel?
Yeah, first of all, I don't understand the question completely, but to answer short, the way SecureDNS works, you have to enable it on your access. So you need premium threat protection. You have to enable it on your AXS Guard. Yeah, you don't need to install anything on your clients. Okay, so it's a little bit different than what Secutech is offering there. So we put all our logic on our firewall, on our AXS Guard. I suppose you mean firewall in this case. I mean like OpenDNS. Well, yeah, you can use other services, of course. That's you can, and of course there's no problem there. But yeah, definitely have a look at Secutech solution there, our SecureDNS implementation. It's it's easy to deploy it in your it's really very easy to deploy it in your environment. You just enable it on your AXS Guard. Make sure that all your client PCs are using the AXS Guard for DNS resolving, and that's basically it. So voilà. Is that okay as an answer?
Harold,
yeah.
let me step in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the big difference between using services like OpenDNS and potentially others are that those services will only report on potential issues with your public IP address. They will never reveal you any information from where in your network the threat is originating. So, and that's the most important part, but as you could see, there are two types of threats which are really dangerous and which means that there is malicious software on that endpoint installed. So that endpoint should be cleaned up. And how to find this endpoint? If you are one of our partners and you have hundreds of access guards to manage, and somewhere in the network there is EPC, one PC with a problem software installed. How do you find it? Well, solutions like OpenDNS and others will never be able to pinpoint you to the single PC between the hundreds or thousands of PC that you are managing. Secondly, if you combine SecureDNS, the premium threat protection, with our endpoint security solution, then the endpoint security allows you to examine that PC from remote, from a distance. So you don't need to walk over to the PC effectively. Through the EDR solution that's part of our portfolio, you really can look at the processes and you can find the origin from where the threat is starting. You will find the process, you can kill it, you can even clean the PC completely from a remote management perspective. And that makes it extremely powerful. And that's also the thing I wanted to add over our vision. What will be the next step? We are now integrating the trio. That means access guard on the gateway. You have the central threat intelligence from the cloud with solutions like SecureDNS. And we have the Reacta solution, which allows us to correlate the data on the gateway from the three sources and to take action on the malicious PC or the PC that's infected. And so that's our path towards the global protection from a zero trust perspective. Just my 2 cents at the end. I give now the word back to Don.
Okay, thank you. Yes, also Mac is protected with the endpoint security. The EDR solution is also available for Mac OS. Other questions related to the seminar?
Yeah, there's another question from Manos. But I think it's a little bit off topic and is there already an USB-C PAX, so maybe we should, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get back on you.
About our Road Warrior, I think, a question about the Road Warrior. Okay.
Okay. Well, I hope you liked the presentation. I don't see any other questions. Or if you want, you can open your microphone and just ask the question. If not, we'll leave it here. And I said, do not hesitate to contact your partners, your access guard partner, or ourselves. We can bring you in contact again, and we can make it a safer place for everybody. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.